Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's book review. It will be The Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. This is book 2 of the Scythe trilogy, The Arc of the Scythe. It is the sequel to Scythe, which is right there behind my head. And, excuse me, it is 504 pages long. I apologize if my voice or whatever, if I cough, I'm just getting over a cold. So anyway, it's 504 pages long. It was released this year, January 9th, 2018. So it's pretty new. It's a fairly new book. It is of the sci-fi genre. I already reviewed Scythe and I explained a lot of things about what a Scythe is in the world, but to put it in a nutshell, the trilogy, the world is our future world where humanity has conquered death, aging, and there's no war, there's no conflict, you can't die essentially because of advancements in technology. We all have these ways we don't feel pain, etc. Breaking a limb is not a big deal, and so on and so forth. And the problem being that with that comes population growth because there's no death, so the world still cannot sustain our population. So what happens is there's this organization called the Scythedom, and humans have the responsibility, ones that are chosen to be Scythes have the responsibility to choose who dies, and that's the only way that someone can actually die. And they choose by actually being like a Grim Reaper figure, so to speak, and they glean them, they kill them off, but there's a lot of rules attached to it, and that's more what Scythe is about. So how did humanity achieve this kind of perfection world? Well, they developed an AI which became like this culmination of all the information of the world, and was on a cloud server. And clever writing by Neal Shusterman, the cloud evolved into what's now known as the Thunderhead. Now, unlike most AIs in these sci-fi futuristic stories, this one does not want to kill humanity, so far as I know, because it doesn't show any signs of that right now. It's still trying to be doing what's best for humanity. Now, the problem is that the Thunderhead itself chose to say, I'm not going to choose who dies because I'm not a human, that's not on me, and I don't want to create this animosity from humanity towards me. I don't want to be like that figure of death. So I feel the responsibility should be for humans to choose among themselves. So the Scythes can choose, and they have their rules, and I will not interfere. I cannot interfere with the Scythe. That's the Thunderhead's mentality. And it being as it is being an AI, it cannot break its own rules. It cannot break programming rules for itself. But it can get around them. But anyway, so the story is now the Scythedom is getting out of hand. Some of these new age Scythes are trying to say we're better, we have more power, we can do what we want, etc. And the Thunderhead doesn't like that, but it can't interfere. And there's still Scythes that are Puritan or old school or old way, that believe that what these new Scythes are doing is going to be catastrophic. So there's this conflict within the Scythedom. The Thunderhead doesn't like what's going on, but it can't interfere. There's two main characters, Rowan and Citra, who are from the first book, that we're following them still. They're more of the old, they were trained by the old mentality, and they don't believe in this wanting to, enjoy killing and we are the power and etc. They're trying to maintain the order of what the Scythe, the essence of what the Scythedom is supposed to be. And that's I don't know how to make this not sound any more convoluted. But to make matters more convoluted, there's a new character in this one who is not a Scythe, But the Thunderhead chose this character because of, I guess he deemed him pure. I don't know. And it's just, I like this book a lot. It's just, I find it so hard to explain the plot. So I'm not going to get too into it. But what I like about this book and the other book is the philosophies around it. And in this book, between each chapter, there are journal entries from the Thunderhead itself. So the previous book, the journal entries were from different Scythes, like older Scythes and the ones in the characters in the book, and their perspectives on this whole matter of death. But now the Thunderhead is in between each chapter, providing some kind of insight into what it feels or what it thinks. And sometimes the way it words things, it's like it's you're wondering, like, is it trying to help or is it trying to gain absolute power? But it's still deeming what it's doing is in the best interest of humanity. Now, I'm not going to get into in depth because unless you really read the book, you can't understand what I'm saying. I don't know why I went on my tippy toes there. But anyway, you can't really, it's hard to understand what I'm trying to communicate until you read these books, because there's a layer of depth to them that I can't really explain in a short amount of time. But there's a lot of philosophy around the whole concept of death, the whole concept of what is a perfect society, a perfect world, who gets to choose who lives and who dies. It's always the same, it's a constant conflict with this whole, especially population crisis. Who's the judge, really? Who gets to choose? And that's kind of playing on this as well a bit. I really like the characters. I really like the amount of effort the author put into making this world very robust. I haven't seen any really loopholes yet in the whole grand design, except for intentional ones, but that's a whole other thing. And yeah, I don't really know much else to say. Please just check out this book. If you haven't read this one, if you haven't read the first one yet, read Scythe. It's very great. I enjoyed it. I couldn't put it down when I started reading it. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like this video if you like it. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy these reviews. And I'll see you guys next time.